Hey everyone! So, I recently made a speed animation video, and some of you were wondering how I animated my run cycles. So, today I'm going to be showing you how I animate run cycles. I'm also going to do it from the front view as well as the side view, so stick around for that, and let's get started. First off, we're going to start by creating the project, naming it, choosing the size you want to animate to, and your frames per second. I usually choose 12 frames per second, so it's not really too much, or not really little either. And first off, you're going to start by putting guidelines in where you want the top of your head to be for the highest and lowest point, and a guideline for the ground. Now, since I had already made a run cycle animation before, I sort of just copy and pasted it, and you're going to want to do this for about 8 frames. And for those of you who don't have FlipaClip Premium, I will only be using 3 layers to do this. So, now we are going to begin sketching, and I usually sketch in colors as it is easier to separate things that are moving versus not moving. So first, I like to sketch a base, which is basically just like the torso area and the head. The legs and the arms will come second, and everything else after that. I am only sketching the legs here to make sure I got the size and proportions right to the ground so I can edit things if I needed to. And you can do the same or something else, whatever works for you. So after you have your base sketched out, you are going to copy that and go to frame 5 and paste it there, as frames 1 and 5 will be the highest points during your animation. Then you will go to frame 3 and move it down to the bottom guideline that you have. So frames 3 and 7 will be the lowest points in your animation. So what I do now is I'm going to turn on my onion skin and in between it. So for the rest of my empty frames, I'm going to move this down and in between the 2 guidelines that I have, and then I'm just going to copy and paste that for the rest of my empty frames. So now when you play it, it should just look like it's bouncing up and down. Alright, so now that we have the base done, we are going to move on to the legs. Now you can keep the same color or you can change it like I do so it's easier to tell what is what. And like I said earlier, I'm going to be doing this all on 3 frames for people who do not have premium. So, on the highest poses, like frames 1 and 5, that is when the legs will be the most outwards. So, on frame 1, when the front leg, the leg that is in the front, closest to the camera, that leg on frame 5 will be the one in the back. Now moving on to frames 3 and 7, when your animation is at its lowest point, is when the legs are going to be the most scrunched up and below the person. But for this one, I only did frame 3 for now, as I'm only focusing on the first half of the animation first. So for this first half of the animation, frames 2 and 4 are the in-betweens, so we can in-between those now. You can play back your animation as many times as you need to help you spot any mistakes there might be. Right here, I added a temporary 9th frame and copy and pasted the first frame onto that one just so I could get the onion skin so I could in between where I need to draw these frames better. And again, the 7th frame is the lowest point in the animation along with the 3rd frame, so that's where the legs will be the most scrunched up and underneath the person. And here on the 6th and 8th frame, we're just going to do the same exact thing we did on the 2nd and 4th frame and in between it. Please do not be afraid to make mistakes during your animation or to redo certain parts of it, as I am doing here. I usually end up redoing a few parts of my animations just to make it look a little bit better. going to delete that temporary 9th frame so that the animation loops. And when you are done with the legs, it should look something like this. Moving on to the arms, I'm going to sketch those in the same color I sketched the legs in. And you're just going to keep that front arm the opposite way that the front leg is. So, when the front leg is forward, the arm is going to be back, and vice versa. For animating the arms, we're just going to take the arm forward as the front leg goes back, and as the front leg goes forward, the arm will come right back. And something I like to do as the arm comes forward is I like to make the fist go smaller as it comes in front of the body. And now moving on to the hair and the tail. When the character goes up, the tips of the hair and the tail go down. And when the character goes down, the tips of the hair and the tail go up. And that's just how I animate every frame for the hair. And now moving on to the final thing, which is animating the clothes. So for my character, that's just a sweatshirt, a pair of shorts, and some shoes. So you just kind of animate the clothes to the direction the body goes. And now moving on to the line art. So for this, you're going to want to switch to the pen tool and create a new layer just to do the line art on top. You're also going to want to lower the opacity of your sketch layer so you can see your line art layer better. So now, once you're done and happy with the line art, I duplicated my project. You don't have to do that. You can just delete the sketch layer instead. But I duplicated it and then deleted the sketch layer onto duplicate. And then you want to duplicate the line art layer. And then once you do that, you want to select the bottom one, the bottom line art layer, and then you can start coloring in your animation. And it should look something similar to this when you're finished with it. Now moving on to animating run cycles from the front view, we're going to start off by creating a new project. Hopefully this part of the video won't take as long as the first half did, since I won't be going over it in as much detail, because the process is basically the exact same except we're going to be doing it from a different angle. We're still going to draw in the guidelines for the highest and lowest point that the top of the head will be at, and for the ground. The highest frames will still be 1 and 5, and the lowest frames will be 3 and 7, and the rest of them are going to be the in-betweens. And I'm still going to start off by drawing just the torso area and adding everything else we'll need from there. And we are doing the exact same thing we did in the first half of this video, so I'm not going to keep going over it, but do feel free to look at as many references as you need. And when you are finished, it should look something like this. Hey everyone! Thanks for watching that video. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out the video to the right of me. For more videos like this, be sure to subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss any new content. If you want, you can check out my other channel where I will be posting animations and art. And if you are wondering how I made this video, please be sure to read the description. Hope you enjoyed and thanks for watching. Bye!